guys, it's Christina from The Beauty of Paint, and I'm here at the Playseum, and today we're going to work with some clay. I would look around your house and see what you could find. So I have a fork and a knife. We'll be including in your kit some Q-tips, a piece of straw, and then maybe you can find either a plastic cup, or an old water bottle. And then have a little extra water for your fingers to help knead the clay. So this one hasn't dried yet, but today we're going to work on a ring holder for, or a change and anything like that made up with a handprint. And then the other is a cute little flower. And we'll leave these in here to dry. You want to make sure that your clay is not too thin. And you want to roll it out. I start with a wad like this. This is not quite enough. So I'm going to grab more out of my bag here. And I always estimate, but it's fairly soft. You do want to make sure that it stays closed up because it does dry out quickly. And then you're going to want to roll it between your hands. If it starts to fall apart and it's cracking, then add a little more water. But it should look like a giant Tootsie Roll, right? Once we get to the kind of that space, I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna work with my water bottle or an old cup, and I'm just gonna roll this out. And I bet you the lid's a whole lot firmer than the rest of this bottle is. You need to add quite a bit of pressure, so you want something that's firm, and this bottle may not be firm enough. Or if I use the lid, it leaves a design, which is cool too. So that's about the thickness I want for my handprint. My little hands are going to be a little bit smaller, and I think that's going to fit my hand just right. I'm going to use my dampened Q-tip, and I'm going to trace my hand here. And then I can also press my hand in there as well if I want the indentions of my fingers or my fingerprints per se. And then that's what it looks like after you're done. Just, you can barely see the impression, but that's all we really need. I'm gonna take my knife and I'm gonna cut it out, and I'm gonna save the pieces that I'm not using because we're gonna reuse those. And I can slit my fingers if I want to make my fingers a little more bendable. Just pulling those off, and I can dampen my finger, and that will help me kind of smooth any lines that I don't want. I do want to keep my fingers though, so I don't want to, if you want them to be a little more like a hand, but I am using that to kind of smooth those edges out, and it just smooths out really nice and soft. And then if I want to decorate it, I use my fork and kind of give it a really cool, like a pie edge. Go all the way around. If you want to give it fingers, you certainly can go back in with your Q-tip and give it a quick little roll. Or you could even draw a design inside of it. Again, adding a little bit of water. Give it a quick twist, and then you can do a flower or whatever you want. And you could use your fork again to add more texture going the other way, right? And I'm using my bag to protect my table or whatever, because it isn't going to stick as much. And when I am done, I can kind of smooth some more of those edges if I need to while I pick it up. And then I'll put it in my bowl, and I can bend my fingers however I want to. And I didn't bring a second bowl, but you get the idea. Get that cool hand. So it would look like this. I'm going to set this aside. And I'm going to take these other pieces, and I'm going to break them in half. I'm going to push them together, and I'm going to roll it around in my hands, and I'm going to make a ball. And I'm going to squish the bottom of that one, and this is for my flower. And I'm going to push my fork in here, and I'm going to make some designs for the top of my flower. And then we're going to talk about making a snake, right? So snakes are fun because they're really just easy to make. So we're just going to roll our hands together, or if you want to make it bigger, you can even roll it on the table. You may need to add a little bit of water if yours starts to dry out and crack, and that will help make it longer. And you could even make a challenge to see who makes a longer snake, right? And then we'll actually take it and we'll coil it up and put our flower, actually the head of our flower, on this. And you want to make sure that you're not using too much water, but I'm using the water just to kind of give it a little bit of, it helps with the elasticity, and it helps make it a little more stretchy. So I'm going to kind of just pull it just a little bit. So it kind of starts to look like a worm, right? And then I'm going to take it, I'm going to coil it up around my center of my flower. I'm going to, put some water on the bottom of this. That's going to help with adhesion. So adhesion means it's going to make it stick. And I could probably do that on the inside of all of this too. Got a little bit of water in my finger already there. And so that's going to be the center of our flower, and I'm going to set that aside. Looks like, I'll show it to you, kind of slippery. It has water on it like this. That's the underneath part of it. Then I'm going to grab some more clay. And I can either roll it out, or in this case, I think I'm just going to pinch it together. So I could roll it like this in balls, and then roll it out. So I could roll it in a ball. And then pinch it off, and roll it out, and kind of just make it with my fingers, right? I could do it like this, or I could come back here and do partial and then roll it out the other way too, and then use my hand to form it. And you do want to leave these pretty thick, or they will crumble as they get aged. And actually, I'm not gonna, you can do that, but I'm gonna do it the other way. I'm gonna go back to rolling it out. And I'm actually gonna grab some more clay here, so that I have enough petals. And I can use my fork or my knife to cut those. I could even, pre-decorate this and do something with it as well. But I'm just gonna punch a bunch of holes in here like this, because this is gonna be my petals of my flower. And it's a little bit easier when it's flat to do that. But you could totally do it after too. But it gives it a little bit of texture. I'm gonna just come in here and make some sort of leaf shapes. I'm gonna turn this a little bit so I can get to the other side. And I did 5, and I can set aside the extra 2 and maybe do something else later with it. And while these are not perfect, that's okay, because I can go in and I can reshape them a little bit. So I'm just gonna kind of pinch the edges and roll them through my fingers. Like so for one petal. Pinching again, rolling it. And I may need even to get it wet. So 2. And then I'm gonna pinch this one. Kind of stretch it out a bit. Pinch this together. 3. This one's a smaller one. I'm gonna stretch it out a little bit. Curve it up. There's 4. And this one makes 5. Pinch it a bit, kind of give it a little bit of a curve. And so I've got my flower. It's probably a little delicate, so I'm gonna leave it on here for right now. And then I'm gonna put this in as my center. Put a little water on there, and set this aside for later to play with. And you could actually add this and make this longer in the center and make a ring a ring holder out of this one as well. So I'm gonna pick it up. It'll stay together for me, and I can reshape and reform it carefully. And there you go. Got a cute little flower. Thanks everybody, and thanks again to the Playseum for their space, their time, and their funding. Have a great day.